All right, I'm joined today by Brad Fink of CAD Soft, who is very kindly going to talk about the new product that they've got called Professional Architect Pro, which I believe is a tremendous compatible product with TurboCAD. Good morning to you, Brad. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Rob. Thank you. I'm doing very well.
Excellent. So I'm excited about this new Personal Architect Pro. I think it offers a terrific opportunity for the TurboCAD user to create some excellent professional architectural drawings quickly and easily that are compatible with his existing technology.
Yeah, this product, Personal Architect Professional, really grew out of the demand from a lot of the people who are using products like TurboFloorPLAN from IMSI, for example, TurboCAD, our HGV home and landscape product lines, and some of the consumers really wanted to be able to produce some professional sets of drawings utilizing the same interface that CADSoft has developed and become known for. But really didn't need the full-blown technology or feature set of our Envisioneer product line, which runs at a much higher price point and gets into things like framing and cut list and bill of materials. So the Personal Architect Professional product is focused entirely on the design, 3D modeling, rendering, and the production of drawings, and comes in at a very, very reasonable price point, under $1,000. So that offers a tremendous amount of functionality at a very reasonable price point in this economy.
Excellent. One of the things I always tell my customers that this is targeted at the builder or contractor who's trying to get out a working drawing or working permit drawing. That would be this product?
That is this product. It's also targeted a lot at the designer, the residential architect, residential designer, because the product is entirely focused on, the drawing aspect and the design aspect of things. We find that the residential designer is a prime candidate for this. The builder as well, but the builders do tend as well sometimes to gravitate towards more Envisioneer because of the offering of the cut list and the quantities. But if the cut list and quantities are not something that the client or the builder needs at this time, then Personal Architect Pro is a great alternative. And keep in mind that the product is fully compatible with both TurboFloorPLAN, HGV Home and Landscape, and our Envisioneer product line. So any designs done in any of those products will be able to be opened and edited in the Personal Architect Professional product.
Now, that's a very important feature. So any of the existing TurboFloorPLAN users who want to take it to the next level, all their drawings are compatible and can go upwards, huh?
Fully compatible, and they'll now be able to produce working drawings using, all the drafting tools that we've provided. And, maybe someday they'll want to get into things like, framing or cut lists or quantities. And at that point, there is a migration path up to our Envisioneer product line if that need ever arises.
Awesome. Good. Well, could you give us a quick little demo of a couple of the features, and let's take a look at it.
So if you've seen TurboFloorPLAN or Envisioneer before, you'll see that this interface looks very, very familiar. It's something that we've been very successful for us. And when you look at the screen, you'll see that we have the building tab, and that offers everything from walls, doors, and windows to roofing to staircases to columns and beams and members. Our Interiors tab offers a full kitchen cabinet library, appliances, furniture, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, and equipment. And then under the Landscape tab, you'll see we have fences and gates, a full deck design tool, exterior lighting, and exterior accessories. The Terrain tab gives you a full 3D terrain editor, so for things like hills and valleys. You have a full site design tool for lot design. You have retaining walls and paths and pads. And then at the side of the screen, this catalog, which is fully compatible with products like TurboFloorPLAN or Envisioneer, is really where all your objects are kept. So if you select, for example, on a wall or a door or a window command, you'll see that this catalog here changes to reflect the kind of object that I can insert.
Now, all of those objects are what you call BIM, or Building Information Modeling objects.
Yeah, they are intelligent building objects. So, for example, if I take a window, You can change, the width of the window, the height of the window, how many panels the window might have, vertically or horizontally. You can associate information such as side lights or highlights. You can also associate frame and sash detail information. And then you can change the appearance. So it can be a painted window, it can be aluminum, it can be vinyl. So all this information is stored in that catalog. And this window here is generic, but it's also important to note that if you click on this Download More button, you're taken to a website, which is a sister company of ours called Green 3D Home. And that contains lots of manufacturer's information. So up there you'll find things like Alcoa, Anderson Windows, the entire Kohler library is there, Certainty Siding. And so these are different manufacturers' BIM catalogs that have been created, and it's an ongoing process to catalog that industry. And they're all available to be downloaded, both in products like TurboFloorPLAN and in Personal Architect Professional.
And they all appear in the library window there once they've been imported or downloaded?
They do. So when you basically import a BIM file, then they will just appear in this catalog under specific manufacturers.
Okay, that's awesome.
And that's a one-time download. It's free of charge. All you have to do is register with Green 3D Home, and all those BIM catalogs are available for free.
Excellent. Okay, good news.
So as far as the interface, again, very familiar. You click on the command, the object that you want to insert. You select on the particular, wall type or window type or door type, and then it's just a matter of starting to draw on the screen. Now, the one thing that you'll see that's a little bit different from TurboFloorPLAN, for example, is that in Personal Architect Professional, what we've allowed is the ability to have composite walls. So now with a full cavity wall, in this particular case, when I close that building, I now have drywall, I have a 2x4 stud, I have an airspace, and I have a brick veneer. And that can be displayed many different ways. So for example, I can show that in pattern view, and I can show my brick pattern with pattern. Or I just typically like to work in wireframe because it's a little bit faster to work that way. But now with a full composite wall, that's the kind of information that you need when you're producing a professional set of drawings, is you need to show, all your different cavities.
Excellent. Now, just to confirm, if somebody has an existing TurboFloorPLAN drawing, they could bring it in and very quickly change it to show the composite walls, correct?
That's right. So, for example, if I open up a TurboFloorPLAN wall, you're going to see, a familiar interface with this wall. You're going to see it has a width and things like that. But what you won't see in the TurboFloorPLAN catalog is that it has an airspace and surfaces. But when you open up that wall inside of Personal Architect, you'll see these variables. They'll all be set to 0, and then you can just go in and change them. Your airspace, your drywall width, and your brick veneer width in this particular case, and turn that into a composite wall immediately.
Excellent.
The other thing that you can do is you can use the replace command. So if I select that wall, I can right-click, and I can say replace, and I could be replacing that with a wall that comes from the new Personal Architect Professional wall. And so in this case, if I say I want to replace that with siding, now I've just replaced that wall. So if you open up your walls that were created in TurboFloorPLAN, you can just replace them as well in a single step and turn those into full cavity walls as well.
Excellent.
So that's one of the main feature sets in the modeling point of view. Some of the other advanced features that we've offered in this product is the ability to insert, for example, members. So now if I wanted to build, for example, like a gazebo, or I wanted to build an arbor, or I wanted to just, draw beams and purlins in place, I can use the member command, and that member command will actually allow me to take any particular member. I can turn this member, which is a steel stud in this case, but I can actually turn that into, a full steel beam. And by using those same kind of parameters that I have with walls or doors or windows, I can now actually customize, in this particular case, this beam, and turn that into now a steel beam. So the member command, which is in Personal Architect Pro, offers a very, very extensive library, but you can also change that library to create really any combination of endless shapes as well. The other real cool thing about members is that not only can you predefine your shape and your size to get just about any combination of beam or column or purlin that you'd want. But you'd also use this custom member command. So what that custom member allows you to do is select and define your own profiles. So what a profile can be, it can be everything from a chair rail to a baseboard, but really any kind of profile that you can draw and define can actually now be used as a member. So imagine you're defining your own custom crown molding or your own custom baseboard. Really any shape that you can define as a closed surface can be used now as a member, have a material attached to it, been given a size, and in this case I'm going to call this crown molding, and save it, and now this crown molding has been saved in my database. So that's a really important and powerful feature that you don't have currently in TurboFloorPLAN that you would use to do a much more complex or much more customizable 3D model.
Excellent, excellent.
So when you look at the rest of the interface, the other important thing is to note is, at the bottom of the screen you can define whether you're working in 2D or whether you're working in 3D. You can define your elevations. You can define your building sections. A lot of these features you already have in your TurboFloorPLAN product. If you want to walk around the home, if you want to navigate around your structure, largely this is the same feature set as you're going to find in TurboFloorPLAN today. So I wanted to make it obvious to people that if you're going from TurboFloorPLAN and you're going now to Personal Architect Pro, you're not going to lose anything. You're going to have all the features that you have currently in TurboFloorPLAN also exist in Personal Architect Professional.
Excellent.
So what I'm going to do is let's just, in case you haven't seen a lot of the features in either of our products before, I'm going to insert a roof on this building. And I'm going to go back to 3D, and now you'll see that I automatically have a 3D roof. Okay, that roof can be fully defined. So just like you can in TurboFloorPLAN, you can actually select on the different supports, and you can define that roof, for example, in this case, to now be a gable end. You can also select on individual supports. And what I'm doing here is I'm turning those arrows from red to green, and I can go and define, for example, in this case, the slope. So I may change the slope of this roof from 8/12 pitch to a 10/12 pitch. And that can be done in either 2D or in 3D, and everything that you create and edit in one view is reflected in the other view as well.
Excellent.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, just to get to the next portion of what we want to show here, is I'm going to insert a few windows and doors into this model, just so I have something a little bit nicer to work with. Okay, and let's put in an entry door here as well. So what I'm going to do is put an entry door into my building. Okay, and all these features again are available in TurboFloorPLAN as well today. When I go back to 2D, here's where you're going to see a lot of the differences between the consumer products that we have today and Personal Architect Professional. Before I get into our worksheets, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dimension this building using the auto dimension command. Okay, and I'm also going to dimension the interior just by picking across the screen.
That's one of the features I really love about this is, in TurboCAD you sit there trying to do these dimensions individually, and this is just a single click and you've got the whole house dimensioned. It's really...
Yeah, it's a huge time saver, and for people who haven't seen it before, they'll also see under the dimension settings, I mean, you can dimension this automatically any way that you want. So, for example, a lot of people will like to dimension to center line of opening. You may dimension to stud if you're really more looking at the framing information. Or on the interior walls, a lot of people will dimension to drywall, but other people will dimension to, to the stud or even to center line in some cases I've seen. So if you change your dimension settings and reactivate the command, now in this case you'll see that I've actually dimensioned all the center lines of the openings as well.
Interesting.
So it becomes a very, very powerful tool.
Interesting.
Now, this is really the main difference. What I'd like to show you in the next segment is really where the Personal Architect Professional makes the great leap over a product, say, such as TurboFloorPLAN. And you'll see at the bottom of the screen here, I have these tabs. Okay, if you've seen our Envisioneer product line before, you're also familiar with these tabs. But what we've done here is if I go now onto my drawing sheet, here you're actually presented with a complete drafting interface. Okay, so what you have on the screen here, you have what we call a Smart View. The Smart View actually allows me to define a Smart View, take a snapshot of this 3D model, define in this window what I want to see. So in this case, I'm going to turn off my roof, define my scale, and insert that floor plan onto my drawing sheet.
Excellent.
Now, these drawing sheets are 2D only because they're like pieces of paper, but they're a full production CAD environment. So I have things like blocks and attributes. For anybody who comes from the AutoCAD world, you'll know what a block and an attribute is, where you can define your own details, you can define your own attributes, and you can save those for later insertion. They're all available in the Personal Architect Professional product as well. You'll also have the ability to insert CAD files. So here we've actually enabled the ability to bring in a complete DWG file. And I can bring this DWG file in, I can set its scale, and I can insert that onto my drawing sheet as well. So we support both AutoCAD DWG and DXF files, and when we bring these details in, we actually support all the blocks and attributes that might be embedded in those details at the same time.
Now, at some point you had a library of those details. Do you still have that? Or?
We do. There's about 300 details, and we do include those as well in the Personal Architect Professional product.
Excellent. Okay.
The other important thing to notice, if you look at this title block here, for example, and I select on that title block, on the right side on my screen, you'll see that I have some properties. So I can go to my Attributes button, and I can change everything about that. So, for example, I can change the the project name or the project address or my name or the scale. So all this information gets changed in the title block, and it updates it here as well.
Excellent. Now that scale value there, is that something you had to type in there, or was it something that came across from that insert command?
Actually, that is something that comes across as well from the drawing scale itself of the view. So this view that I happen to be working on right now is actually a 1/4 inch to a foot. Okay, but I can override that. So I can go in if I want to, and I can just go in and type an override to that if I wanted to change that. We don't try to automate too much because people may want to do something totally different.
I see. Okay. All right, but it's really nice that you don't have to go in there and individually select each of those text elements, and you can just do it in that table.
You can do it on that table. That's right. Okay. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, now this is the way I have my project template set up. You can set up your own project template. So, for example, if you have, maybe your sheets are site plan, ground floor plan, second floor plan. I mean, you could set those up as well. But I have mine set up as floor plan, elevations, and details. So using that same Smart View function, I can go in and say I want to automatically insert my elevations. I may want to automatically insert my building sections or my details. And these are automatically generated from that 3D model.
And you can have them with hatch patterns and that kind of thing as well, if I recall.
That's right. So in this case, let me show you that, Rob. I'll take my rear elevation and I'll show that patterned. And I'm going to insert that in a pattern mode.
Excellent. Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that elevation up and just draw it over so I can fit them all in the same sheet together. Excellent. What you can also do on that note is if you go to the draw function now, you'll see that you also have what we call a boundary hatch, very similar to what you would have in a product like AutoCAD or TurboCAD. So here I can pick a simple brick pattern, and I can select the boundaries, and you'll see we automatically recognize boundary recognition. So I can preview it, and I can insert a boundary hatch automatically as well.
Excellent, excellent.
What I can also do is use a polygon hatch command, use that same simple brick. I may just want to hatch in a couple different areas. So for example, I like to hatch personally just a little bit of an area here and turn off my boundary because I can hatch a little bit on this section, a little bit on that section. So you have a full range of functionality and options at your disposal.
Excellent.
I can also select that brick pattern and go in and say, well, I really want to change that now to maybe horizontal siding. And so by doing that, I can update all my hatch patterns as well.
Okay. These are things that my customers are asking for all the time, and it's so beautiful to see it just automated.
Yeah, we really spent a lot of time on, and a lot of these features are things that we've had in our Engineer software. So we thought it's really time to take a lot of these features and bring it into Personal Architect Professional, and offer the ability to produce these, working drawings in an integrated product at a very, very reasonable price point. So some of the other commands that you'll find here as well that you don't have in TurboFloorPLAN, just the ability to draw lines, for example. So I can draw my own details now in a full production drafting environment. I have, arcs. These are things that you enjoy now in a product like TurboCAD. But I also have, snap overrides. So I can select on the, the center, for example, of that, and snap override to the endpoint of that. Okay, so it ends up becoming a full production drafting environment as well.
Excellent. So if you do need to tweak something or add a little extra line there to enhance those elevations, you can, or whatever details you need, you can do that.
For the CAD enthusiasts in the audience, I mean, you also have full customizable keystrokes. So I can type an L for line, and I can be drawing a line, or C for circle, and I can customize every command in the product for my own keystrokes.
Excellent. And do you still have the double entry keyboard equivalents? Is that still possible?
You do. So if I go to my toolbars here and I go to my keyboard command, here you can have really any combination. So, for example, I have arc 3 point set to A3. But it could be set to, it could just be set to A if I wanted it to.
I see. I like the double keyboard so that you kind of, it's a little bit like a menu, and then you can just do it. So that's really nice. I do like that. Yes.
So the other thing in our worksheet mode, you'll notice if I just move over the tabs here, now you have all the AutoCAD commands or all the TurboCAD type commands for editing. You have move and rotate and copy and array and scale and trim and extend and fillet. So those are all available now as well.
So these tools only appear when you're in one of the 2D views, though, eh?
That's correct. So if I go back to my model view, for example, I mean, we do have a limited subset in our layout menu of a lot of those commands, just if you wanted to do some drafting within your model view.
I see.
But when you do go to your worksheet view, now you have a much more extensive set of professional drafting tools available to you.
Okay. All right, excellent.
So here under the modify and then under the tools, one of the important things you'll notice, you have not only text and leaders and find and replace text commands, but you have a very, very now extensive set of dimensioning tools. So what I mean by that is if I decided I wanted to put a manual dimension here, for example, let me put a linear dimension, from here to here and position it in that position. What I also have is a command such as continuous dimension. So I can select on a continuous dimension here and say I want the next dimension to be here and here and here, and put all my continuous dimensions in place.
Excellent.
I can also do what I call an overall dimension, and that overall dimension is going to be positioned here, but it's going to be a combination of this, 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 and this dimension.
Oh, nice. Okay, good.
Which is very nice. I can also split a dimension. I can select a dimension, and I might want to split it right there.
Okay.
And the inverse of that is join, where I can select that dimension and that dimension are now joined together once again.
Well, I like those tools. I haven't seen those in, not even in TurboCAD.
Now, they're probably the fastest and the most robust set of dimensioning tools I've seen really in any product.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before. That's nice. I like it.
So it's really good. So the other thing that's important to note in Personal Architect Professional, because we really geared it for the, the small professional designer, there is a limitation right now on worksheets. So right now you have 3 worksheets at your disposal plus the model view. Okay? Whereas in Visioneer, really, you have unlimited amount of worksheets. I
see.
And, so as a product design, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, and if push comes to shove, the user can export this to DWG and open it up in TurboCAD, correct?
That is correct. So we've retained the DWG and the DXF import and export. And so you can basically send those to complete AutoCAD format on whatever layering standard you want to use for use in products like TurboCAD, for example.
Talk to me a little bit about layering standards. What what standards are you using by default, or
By default, we have our own layering standard. However, we do ship with the AIA layer standards as well. And so what you can do is you can load up templates. So your templates, as you load them up, can be replaced. So for example, if I want to go to my layering setup, what I can do here is load up and replace the AIA layer template setup. Okay, and we have 2 or 3 that we ship with. But you can really use anybody's layering standard in the Envisioneer product.
And you can do that right in the middle of the drawing, so everything will get reassigned to the new layer depending on...
No, there's a safety net there, because if you've already drawn a line on layer walls, for example, layer walls will be retained.
I see.
Okay, so you would have to go in, if you, for example, if you wanted to replace these dimensions, I would select on those dimensions, and I would override that style or that layer to something different.
I see.
Because if we automatically tried to replace it, you could really end up with a real mess there.
That's what I was worried about. Okay.
Right. So there's a lot of I'm sure there's things that are different than in TurboCAD or an AutoCAD, but I think once you get used to the way that Personal Architect Professional is set up, you're able to bring in different views at different scales, for example. So here's another good example. If I go to my elevation, and let's say that I want to bring in that front elevation at a different scale, I can go back to my Smart View, bring in that front elevation, insert that at a different scale, and bring that in as well.
Excellent.
Okay, so you can have different view sizes at different scale sizes on this, all on the same sheet.
Excellent.
Okay. The other thing to note is that if I go through here, and so for example, back to my model, and let's say I replace that model or replace that door, maybe in this case just with a single door. What I can actually do is go back to my Smart View, select on it specifically, edit its definition, or update its contents. And now in this case, I updated its contents, and that door is now a single door.
So you can update one of these Smart Views. Okay, that's nice. Is that a new feature?
You can update them individually, yes. Like, for example, Envisioneer allows you to, update all your Smart Views in your entire project in a single stroke, which is kind of an advanced feature because there's a lot of management that goes along with that.
Right.
But we did give Personal Architect Pro the ability to select on specific individual Smart Views and update them within your drawing sheet.
That's nice, because you used to have to go and reinsert it. Even in earlier versions of Envisioneer, you had to reinsert them.
That's right.
And so that's a nice new feature. Terrific. Okay, good.
So I think that the biggest thing to focus on really the differences between something like a TurboFloorPLAN or HGTV's product or Personal Architect Pro is really the ability now to create several drawing sheets using our worksheet technology. You can also use you do have the ability to do some more advanced modeling as well, but really it's the worksheet views that really set it apart from the retail product line.
Excellent. All right, well, Brad, thanks very much for your time. I'm pretty excited about this product, opportunity to sell this to our customers. I believe it is going to be a terrific solution for them to use in combination with either their existing TurboFloorPLAN or TurboCAD.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, I think as well, too. I mean, we're really excited about it. It's product's already available either through CAD Course, of course, and we've had great response so far, and it seems to be a product that has that's priced right for the market in today's economy and gives you an excellent range of tools at your disposal to produce all of the information that you need.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
All right, thanks.
Cheers.